get your education, work hard, be your best, work it out with all your heart. But the most important thing is that you truly have fresh revelation from God for your future.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Framework Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Ken Engel, president of Southeastern University. And, of course, joining me is our co-host, Michael Steiner, SCU Senior Vice President for Advancement and Innovation. And, wow, we're excited today for our guest, Luke Barnett. Luke is the senior pastor of Dream City Church, which is a multi-campus church with over 30,000 members dedicated to really transforming lives and communities. He and his wife, Angel, been in ministry for over 25 years, leading with a passion for faith-based leadership and outreach and discipleship. Luke and his family have been instrumental in the fight against human trafficking and poverty through the Dream Center. Luke also has mentored thousands of pastors and leaders for the annual Dream Conference. On top of that, he manages to find time to serve on our executive committee of our board of trustees, as well as the full board of trustees. Luke, we're honored to have you for the podcast today.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Dream City has grown into one of the most impactful churches in our nation. I mean, a powerful church with, again, multiple campuses and outreach initiatives. Start telling us a little bit about the story behind Dream City and what it was like watching your dad start this incredible community, and how have you seen that, vision come to life over the years, and what have been some of those key moments, and now you have the privilege to lead. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, starting off, when I was a teenager, I really had no desire to be in the ministry. My dad to me was bigger than life, and I watched him preach and teach and be able to move people. He's a very unique leader in that when he gets up and speaks, he can just really move a crowd by his communication skills and the anointing on his life. And I saw that and I thought, man, I could never do that. When I was 20 years old, I was training to be a professional golfer and playing on a lot of local tours in Arizona. And my dad sensed that I was struggling with my calling, my identity. And he said, if someone ever asks you to come preach at their church, maybe you should be open to doing that just to see if you like it or if God would use you that way. And he was never one to push us into the ministry, but he just felt like he needed to say that. And 2 weeks later, a pastor from Goodyear called me. My dad didn't know the guy. And he said, I feel like I just want to ask you to come preach in my church. And I said, I'm not a preacher. I don't do that. And I told my dad, actually accused my dad of setting the whole thing up. And he said, no, I don't know him, but you said, if God would open a door, you'd go. So maybe you ought to go and just try it. Well, I took one of his sermons and tried to memorize it and stumbled and stammered. But when I got to the altar call, the invitation, that was very natural to me. And I gave the invitation that night. One lady came forward. She gave her heart to the Lord, and that moment changed my life. Wow. And so from there, I went to Kansas City for the whole summer, where my grandmother lived. My grandmother and grandfather pastored there for 65 years. And so they knew everyone in town. So I cut my teeth learning ministry by preaching at all these country churches, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night. That's how I got trained in the ministry. And so that's how I got started. And, then I went off to Dayton, Ohio, and pastored my first church at 26 years old. And I was there for 4 years and took a very difficult situation and transitioned it. Then I moved to Whittier, California, where I pastored again for 6 years and followed an iconic old pastor there. The church had struggled over the years, and we revitalized that. And then I moved back to Phoenix in 2006 to be my dad's executive pastor. Okay. And in 2011, he had a heart surgery. Yes. And he calls it forced change. Like he was just born and raised that you die in the pulpit, he would have gone forever, Yeah. And God kind of forced that move, he believes, so that he would step aside and allow new leadership to step forward. And so when that happened, immediately there was a shift in my spirit, like the mantle had dropped on me now. And before, I was essentially running, the church, the programs, but the mantle had not shifted. Yeah. And when he passed the mantle, I felt it for the first time. And for the first time in my life, I thought, this church has always been led by a man who had a vision, fresh revelation from God. And it was very obvious to people. I didn't have that, and I knew it. And I knew that if I tried to lead this church without a fresh revelation from the Lord, it would probably fail. And so I did what I watched my dad do for all those years. He would climb the mountain halfway up. In fact, when I was working for the church doing construction, I drove a Bobcat up the side of the mountain and carved out about a 10 by 10 space up there, put a safe in the brick in the mountain wall where he could keep his Bible and some notes in. I built that for my dad, and he would go up there every day and just look over the city from that plateau. And it kept him so filled and full of vision. So I said, I wonder if that's still there. And for 40 days, I went to the mountain for a couple hours every morning. I went on a Daniel fast. I ate nothing but bird seeds and twigs and leaves for 40 days, lost 25 pounds during that time. But God spoke to me on that mountain. He gave me a red-hot vision for the next decade of our church. And it was bold. It was daring. I didn't know how to do half of it, because I was raised in a ministry family where, we believe one big church, one massive church would impact the city. That was my dad's vision. And God was telling me that, we have this one big church deal, but we need to reach out our tentacles all across the state of Arizona and try to reach the state. In fact, we tell our people our mission is to see Arizona become a Christian state. And people say, well, why is that? Well, I say, well, states are known for things. Utah, our whole state's known for Mormonism. California is known for actors and actresses. Texas is known for oil and millionaires and bad football teams, all that kind of stuff, But why can't there be one state that's known for people who love the Lord? And so during that time, we've gone from, one location to now 11 locations. And, it's just been this amazing ride. I know I'm taking a little time here, but the thing that really has inspired me in the whole a decade and beyond now is the first 10 years of my ministry, I felt a calling, but I only saw addition. And it was hard work, and it's still hard work. You got to work hard, but it felt like I had my shoulder to the plow, and we were making gains, but they were small gains. And looking back, I think it's because I was operating on a secondhand revelation from the Lord. What I mean is I was operating in a mode where the way I saw my dad operate. He ran buses, and that's really all I knew from my perspective. And when I went on the mountain, I got a firsthand revelation from the Lord, a firsthand vision. And I felt ill-equipped for it. I felt like it was too big for me. But then I watched the hand of God move because it was His revelation. And nothing has been more empowering, more thrilling, more life-giving than being driven by a firsthand revelation that uses my unique giftedness. It fires me up every single day. It gets me out of bed and motivated about the rest of my life because it came from the Lord, and He accounted for that vision, even utilizing all my gifts. And so it was very special to me.
And it's such a powerful mission. And now, looking back a decade, you've had this incredible growth. How have you been able to, maintain sticking close to that vision in the midst of all that growth?
What's interesting, I cast that vision in 2013. And 2023, 10 years later, was going to be our 100-year anniversary as a church. Wow. And so that's kind of how I shared the vision. This is what our church is going to look like in 10 years. This is what it's going to smell like. This is what it's going to feel like when you walk in here. I begin to share really what I felt God put up on my heart. We're not going to have one campus. We're going to have multiple campuses all across the state. We're going to start a new dream center here in Phoenix, and just begin to paint that vision. And here we are now, 2025, 2 years beyond. Everything that we laid out in that vision came to pass.
Wow.
Everything, and even beyond. And that's why in the middle of it, it was so encouraging to me because I knew that I couldn't do that. I knew it was the Lord because I had tried that before I got my firsthand revelation through the power of the flesh. And God still honored obedience and all that. Right. But there is nothing like having a God-inspired revelation that's compelling you and getting you out of bed in the morning. So now, to be honest, we're 2 years beyond 2023. Mm-hmm. And someone asked me the other day, well, that was great, but what's next?
Yeah.
And I had to step back and think, well, I haven't really thought about that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost like a little bit of complacency, to be honest, has begun to move in. We're still working hard and doing our thing. Yeah. But the Bible says that's not enough.
Right.
Without a vision, without fresh revelation from the Lord, people perish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, if I stay on that path, a little bit of dying will happen every single day.
Wow.
It's not that you're going to keel over and die, but the light goes out of your eyes, your shoulders start to slump because you're not moving toward a vision. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very important that we keep that fire. Yeah. We get a new revelation for this next time period.
Yeah. One of the most powerful aspects of your ministry is the work you've done in the town of Colorado City, which is amazing to hear. When I first heard you tell the story, I couldn't believe it. I mean, tell us a little bit about that situation, how you got involved. I mean, it's an incredible story. And I was also really excited to hear that I believe the mayor of Colorado City is actually a graduate of SCU. And so, tell us about that.
Well, it's amazing. It's hard to believe a place like this exists in the United States today, but the Mormon community, a sect of it, the Fundamental Latter-day Saints Church, they moved to a place called Colorado City to practice polygamy. Wow. And this was back in the 1920s where they built this community. And people always ask, how is it able to go on with the anti-polygamy laws? Yeah. And back in the 1960s, the feds did a raid, and the optics were so bad of them ripping babies out of mothers' arms that they just left alone all these years. And they were pretty much a peaceful community for many years until Warren Jeffs. He was like the fourth Jeffs leader in that community, fourth generation. And so he was a very evil man, and he took control, and he called himself God's prophet. And these families in Colorado City, one man may have 12, 13, 14, 50 wives. Warren Jeffs had 86 wives. Wow. His 67th wife, her name was Brielle Decker. And the way these little communities work is they're just taught and trained from very young that you don't leave here. The world is evil, and so no one ever leaves these communities. And finally, her eyes were opened, and she made a dramatic escape out of her window one night. And this is back in 2016. And she made her way down to the Phoenix Dream Center. And her life was changed. She truly met the Lord, and she asked us, "Would you please do what you're doing here in Colorado City? My hometown needs you." And we said, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, I was awarded the home of Warren Jeffs, 29,000 square feet, where all his wives and children lived." And it's mine now through the court system because he was put in federal prison.
Yeah, right.
Back in 2004 or 5. And so we said, well, we don't know. You open this door, we'll walk through it and see where it goes. And we walked up there, and we saw a community that truly looked like the little house in the prairie. Wow. Little girls walking in the streets wearing prairie dresses, their hair, put up in braids. And there've been several Netflix specials done on Colorado City. You can watch those. It's eye-opening. But she said, I'll give you this home. And she owed about $500,000 in back taxes. It was such a big property. So we paid those back taxes off, and we went in with Joyce Meyer's help. Joyce Meyer invested $1 million, her ministry, into renovating the whole place and removing all those triggers, that were there. And we opened in 2018, and our role there in that community is to bring Jesus, but also to have a safe place for these young brides, again, some 13, 14, 15 years old, to escape and come and find a safe place to rebuild their life with their children as well. And so we started with that home. We bought Warren Jeff's brother's home right next to us, about a 12,000 square foot little shack. All the homes are big up there, and now that is reserved for teams to come in from churches, do mission trips. Well, that we outgrew the original home. And so my wife, Angel, she runs the program. So one day, Joyce Meyer's son called her and said, "How are things going?" She goes, "Well, we have a need. We need another home." And within minutes, they wired $500,000 in to buy another 20,000 square foot home for phase 2 of these girls' job training and just the next step for life. So it's truly amazing. The whole town is being revitalized. People are coming to life again. All the schools in that town were closed down because Warren Jeffs put all the kids to work in the fields.
Wow.
And all the schools are opened back up again, and life has returned to Colorado City.
And I know I think we're trying to provide some programs that, educational programs to come alongside these women and
if I can go back, I want to mention one detail. The town's always been run by FLDS leaders.
Okay.
All the elected leaders, and the mayor has always been a fundamental Latter-day Saints leader. For the first time ever in the elections, this last election period, a non-FLDS leader was elected, and he was a graduate of Southeastern University.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's just amazing how God's put it all together. The town is changing.
Yeah, and it's so inspiring seeing SU alumni in leadership positions like that. What do you think? You guys are deeply invested in raising up leaders. What do you think is the key to raising up leaders who aren't just successful in their careers but making a difference like that?
Well, first of all, I'm so grateful for Southeastern University because the network site there, we're a Southeastern network site. And I think we've been doing the site for about 5 years now. And we've hired 150 people from the school to lead in the various positions. And there is no way that we could have ever gone from one campus to 11 campuses without Southeastern University helping to fill those spots. And the most beautiful thing about the program is that we can watch these kids as they're doing their work.
Right.
Kind of like a farm system.
Sure. Absolutely.
Who are the stars and who really carries our DNA as a church. And so that is a big part of it.
Yeah.
For our church leadership staff, I'm very engaged every week by doing a leadership training at our staff meeting. I think it's very important. A lot of times I travel around and, some staff member will put me up to take me to the church I'm speaking at. And they'll say something like, I just don't feel like I really know my pastor. I don't feel like I really know, where he's going. And I don't think that can be said about our team because of that weekly staff meeting where I'm there training and pouring my heart into them and letting them know where we're going. So I think that's a big part of it, just having FaceTime, with your team every week and sharing what God is doing in your heart and trying to apply it to their lives as well.
Yeah, how do you see Christ-centered education shaping the future of the church and next generation ministry leaders? What's a priority in that sense?
Yeah. Well, for us, we're taking it to the next level in Phoenix. Obviously, we're praying and believing for big things in the future. We're building new dormitories. Phase 1 is already done.
I had a chance to go through one. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And we're breaking ground right now, already on phase 2.
Wow.
And then we have a phase 3 that's going to be going in probably in 2000, late 2006. So it is the future. We believe that getting these young leaders around us, and by the way, all of our Southeastern students come to our weekly staff meeting.
Wow.
And they were asking me to speak so much at the college. I said, I speak every week at our staff meeting. Let them come in, get a feel for what it's like. And so they're there every week, hearing from us, seeing how we run the church, listening to the questions that are being asked.
That's powerful.
And I just truly believe that these young leaders are going to be the ones who change Arizona in the future. Yeah. They come from all over, but I just claim them as being Arizona people.
Absolutely.
Desert rats. They're ours now. Yeah. But, I believe that these network campuses at churches have done more for the body of Christ.
Yep.
It's one that I think I would point to that truly is helping to build the churches that are truly interested in raising up leaders.
Yep. As we wrap up our time today, kind of the last question, your impact and your influence is so broad, so many different campuses and churches and ministries and contexts, and you're developing this next generation of leaders. What do you think is the most important skills, attributes that this next generation of leaders needs to be focusing on as they're getting ready to go out and serve
I love
the world?
that. All the education is extremely important. You got to have some head knowledge in order for the head knowledge to really get to the heart knowledge.
Absolutely.
But I know a lot of people who have a lot of head knowledge, and they're pastoring churches, they're doing great works, but they're not taking the big risk to move things forward. And if I were to say one thing to a young leader, I would say that everything changed for me in my ministry. And I was senior pastoring for 15 years. Like I said, experiencing addiction, having my shoulder to the plow, pushing hard. And God blessed it, but I looked around and I saw all these churches that were just blowing up, and it was truly supernatural, and I wasn't experiencing that. And so when I went up on the mountain and I got a hold of the Lord, and He got a hold of my heart, He shared with me those 5 things on the mountain. When I came down and when I shared those things with our church that Sunday, I was shaking in my boots because I knew that we didn't have the money for it. I probably didn't have the intelligence to even carry it out. I had to do some homework and figure out how to do the whole multi-site thing. But I felt like it was from the Lord. And the moment I shared that vision, things took off. Immediately. Staffers were coming up to me. You have a vision for the arts. Well, God's already been speaking to us.
Wow.
And the arts just took off. The one thing that was slow in being put together was the multi-site. And I hired people from churches that were doing multi-site. They came in. They wanted to buy all kinds of, property. And that doesn't really make sense to me. And then in 2016, a pastor from North Scottsdale just built a mega church campus, but his congregation didn't follow him out. This was in 2006. Then the downturn hit in 2007. And they had 90 people on a 27-acre campus out there. And he saw me in a Starbucks, and he said, hey, I'm getting older now. I'm turning 65, he said, and do you know anyone who would take this church? Wow. And I sat down, shared the vision, and over a handshake, they handed over to us.
Wow.
A $15 million campus, and they only owed $3.9 million on it. Wow. And that was the first big thing. I just knew that God was behind us. From there, a month later, the pastor, Walt Collestad, the pastor of the largest Lutheran church in America at one time, he heard about our vision in reaching Arizona, reaching the state. Wow. He said, I've been trying to retire for many years, and I have a 100-acre campus right on the 101 loop. You know where that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are an independent Lutheran church. They broke away when the Lutheran church started ordaining gay clergy and things like that. And he said, can we give you this campus?
Wow.
And
had a school as well, right?
And 700 kids school as well, student school. And going back to your question, there's just nothing like being led by God-inspired vision. There's nothing like it. I mean, if you can show me a better feeling or a drug I can take,
no.
show me. But when you know that the transcendent God has called you to something, and you get up every single morning and you feel Him moving through His anointing pulsing through your veins, there's just nothing like that. So I would say, get your education, work hard, be your best, work it out with all your heart. But the most important thing is that you truly have fresh revelation from God for your future, and you got to want it. You can't just kind of want it. You got to go to a mountain or go to a beach here in Florida somewhere and just sit there until God speaks to you, and God will speak.
Oh, so good. Well, Luke, thank you for sitting down and having this conversation. I mean, every time I have the chance to be with you, you are so encouraging and uplifting, and and always enjoy it. And so grateful you serve on our trustee board. You bring a wealth of experience and knowledge and insight, and you're making a difference, with that role in serving SCU. And of course, the campus you have there in partnership is strong and powerful, and everything. Your ministry, outreach, and leadership development is truly making a significant impact, and we appreciate your time and all of your insights. So,
thank you. Enjoy being with you.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you want to stay up to date with Luke and the incredible work at Dream City Church, you can follow him on social media at Pastor Luke Barnett, and check out dreamcitychurch.us for more resources and more ways to get involved in everything they've got going on. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.
Well, thanks for joining us on Framework Leadership. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe so leadership insights keep coming your way. You can also catch every episode on your favorite podcast platforms and look for bonus resources. Subscribe to the Framework Leadership newsletter at kentingle.com. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Kent_Ingle and at Dr. Michael Steiner, on X at Kent_Ingle, and at Facebook at Kent Ingle to stay up to date with the podcast and everything happening at Southeastern University.
Thanks for being part of the community.